Hello, happy Wednesday. It feels weird saying happy Wednesday. I kept wanting to write, this is going to throw me off all week now, because I kept wanting to write Thursday Night Live. So if I get the days wrong during the week, please excuse me. The only reason I'm doing this is I'm not going to be around tomorrow. I did already schedule my Fun Fold Friday. That will go live tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And I will show you, this is tomorrow's card. Okay. So that is the card we will be creating tomorrow. And it is a pre-recorded video, just so you know. And then for tonight's card, we're using the Earthen Textures stamp set. Now, if you did not already know, there is a stamp set sale going on right now. Stamp sets are 15% off. Hey, Karen. Did anyone happen to take advantage of that sale today? I actually did. I usually do not take advantage of the sales, but today I actually did. And so these are tonight's cards, just 2 quick and easy cards. And believe it or not, I went to take my photos and look, I forgot to do the insides. I don't know how I could have forgotten, but so let's start with this one because there's a few things that I have to do with my cut and emboss machine because I did not cut everything out. So this is I believe it's called Earthen Textures. Let me just check. Yes, it is. Designer Series paper. And the patterns are amazing. So I'm using this as my background. And if you flip it over, it also, and I don't think I have another sheet of this. Let's see. Yeah, I got one right here. So the opposite side is just like this. Beautifully textured. And you'll notice that the circle is die cut from the Designer Series paper. I also stamped this vase or pottery out of the Designer Series paper. Hey, Mimi Cakes. And I also did the other pottery out of the darker blue, but I also stamped it, okay? So we could use some of this Designer Series paper up. I'm just going to grab my pieces here. Make sure I have the right one. This is going to go on here. Nope, this is an extra. So this is the one I want. Okay. So we're using Pebbled Path tonight. And we're going to start with an 11 by 4 1/4 piece of Pebbled Path. And it's scored at 5.5. And it is going to be a portrait card. Okay. And then we're going to layer it up, of course. I love my layers. We're going to do a Pebbled Path 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, a Pretty Peacock 5 1/4 by 4, and a Designer Series paper 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And all we're going to do is adhere these all together. Okay, so we can do that first. And I'm going to start with the Designer Series paper. I actually really do like this color. It's very pretty. All right, so that takes care of that. And then we're going to layer it up on our Pebbled Path layer. And then we're going to just layer this right onto the front of the card. So far, so good, right? So how's everybody doing? Gosh, the weather has been crazy, hasn't it? We've had rain every night so far this week, and it is just stifling hot. It is so hot. All right, so there is our card base. Hey, Do. That's fine, honey. That's our card base. Then I die cut a circle. Maybe I did not. Nope, I punched the circle out of the 2 3/8 punch. And we're just going to set that on the back of the card. I'm going to actually keep that just like that for now. And I am going to pull out the stamp with the twigs. And I'm going to grab my Pebbled Path stamp. And I'm actually going to just stamp this higher up. You really don't see it, but I know it's there. Okay, just to add a little bit more texture to the background. And now I can add my circle to the front of the card. I'm going to keep the blue on top. All right, I'm going to straighten that out. So we're just adding a circle just so we can, it just highlights these leaves a little bit better. It is pretty, isn't it, Do? This is the Earthen textures, and it is very pretty paper. The just very bold, like this one. Very bold. This reminds me of onion soup bowls growing up. They had that melting look on the sides, but it's just very pretty, very earthy, different. All right, so I did die cut these sprigs, one in Pretty Peacock, one in Copper Clay, and then I also did one in Very Vanilla, so I could fill these pottery pots. But with this one, I am just going to take my small little blending brush and some Pretty Peacock, and I'm just going to add some color just so it's not so stark white or very vanilla. Okay, so let's just move this over for a second, and we're going to pull out our blocks. As you can see, I didn't even get my blocks set up tonight. I had to bring my car in for an inspection and picked it up late this afternoon. And then I had to run to get some ice because Bill and we are going to go on an adventure. We actually bought a tent and we are going to go camping. We owned a camper years ago. Too much work. So we're going to try some tent camping and see what happens. Who knows? All right, so I'm going to pull in some Pretty Peacock. And I am going to grab, this is a piece of the DSP, and it's the lighter side. And then I also have a piece with the Pretty Peacock. So this pottery, I am going to ink it up and stamp it on this lighter piece. Hey Ruth, how are you, honey? Yes, I am. Whoever Facebook user, hello. It must be you, Karen. I do see you. 50s. Oh my goodness. I'm just looking. It's still 81 here. And then I have the larger piece of pottery, and I'm still gonna ink it up, and I'm going to stamp it on this pretty peacock piece of designer series paper. Okay, so let me just grab the dies. There's some pretty neat looking dies in here, and I can see this being used for many, many different designed type cards. I'm just going to grab a piece of washi tape. And like I said, I like to put it on my skin to take some of the stickiness away. And we are just going to, you'll notice that, see how wide that stamp is? So if you were to stamp it without die cutting, it is a pretty wide piece of pottery. Yeah, I bet, Ruth. Like I said, we had a camper too. Now we're going to just try a tent because it's just, I guess, I don't know, I can't say easier. And then the same thing with this pot. You can see that the outline of the die, you can still see the piece of pottery on the outside of the die. Yeah, we just figured it was an adventure. Something different. So we'll see how it goes. We purchased everything we need. Just have to load up the Jeep. I think the one thing that'll be the most interesting is Sheba, because she sleeps in a cage and she will not, I'm not bringing the cage with me. So it should be interesting to say the least. I'll keep you updated. All right, so we just quick die cut out these pots, okay? Now there is also a die so we can have handles on our piece of pottery, all right? Yes, she was going. And I want it to be on here so it will fit. So we are going to find a spot where it will be perfect. And I don't see the pottery behind it. So I'm just going to trim it off just about here. And let's add some glue. Yeah, I have to bring Sheba because I just cannot keep putting her into the hotel. There's no need because we're not staying in a hotel. She'll be outside. All right, so there are our little pots. Now that they're done, I am just going to take my pretty peacock again, and I'm just going to add some color to each side of the pot to add a little shadow to the sides. And I think I just put my hand in. Nope. And then the same with this one. The handle and the sides. This one you won't notice so much, but just to give it a little bit of a shadow. All right, so those are the pieces. So let's bring our card back in, and we are going to pop up our pottery onto the front of the card. Now we have to remember that we want to put these leaves or fern inside these potteries. So I'm just going to put my dimensionals down the center, and we'll add this one right about here. And then I'm going to take the other one, and you can just about see it, and I am going to put the dimensionals right at the edge, and I'm only going to use 2. And then I am going to put a little bit of glue right at the edge, just so it sticks to that pot, and it'll give me just a little bit of an opening. Okay, so there's our pottery. We're going to grab our very vanilla piece, add some glue, and we're going to stick this right inside that pot. We're going to do the same thing with this one. Add a little bit of glue. We know that opening is right about here. So we're going to add that there. Tuck that. And then on this one, I'm actually going to add the glue onto the top. And we're going to stick this in here and press on it, and that pottery will pull it up. All right. We have some wavy trim that goes with this suite, and we are actually going to tie a quick and easy bow. This trim is actually a little bit crazy, or a little bit more difficult to tie a bow, because we can't get a very good knot in the center. So I'm just going to pull that. Then we have a nice little bow. Let's just trim these tails. And then we are going to stamp "Thank You," and I'm stamping it again on a piece of the Designer Series paper. Trying to keep it very earthy. Let's grab a block. I want to make sure that I have it on here straight. And we're going to use our pretty peacock. I'm just going to ink it up and test it. Okay, so it's pretty straight. And we're going to stamp our "Thank You." And I'm going to grab my little banner punch, and we're going to stick this in here and just cut the end just like a banner. We're going to trim off this side, and we're going to pop it up onto the front of the card. And I'm also going to add a little bit of glue, so when we pull our card back in, this "Thank You" will also be adhered to the pottery, just to hold it on there a little bit better. And where are my glue dots? Oh, here they are. grab a glue dot. We're going to add our bow. And you might want to use more than one glue dot. All right. And then we're going to grab some in color gems. And I'm going to use the copper clay. I'm going to put a large one right there. Where's my other pokey tool? I like this one better. And then we're just going to add a few more onto the front of the card. Just like that. So just a nice, quick and easy front. Hey, Cindy. That's right. Welcome from North Dakota. Yeah. I know. I have lots of ink on me this week for some reason. I've just been really inky fingers. All right, so now we have to do the inside. I did cut the paper, I just did not do it. So let's just grab our pretty peacock. I think it's 5 1/4 by 4. And then some basic white, 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And we are just going to stamp. Let's stamp we'll do this one on the inside. We already have our thank you. Let's just grab a piece of scrap. And let's do it in Pretty Peacock. And we'll just add some sprigs, grab some seal, and then we can add this to the center of the card. Just quick and easy. All right, so there's our first card. Thank you, Ruth. I do love the Pretty Peacock too. Hey, Lydia, how are you? Thanks, Cindy. Okay, go do your chores, Karen, and I'll talk to you over the weekend. All right, so I'm not sure if I'll have the PDF for you in the morning, but I will definitely have it for you on Saturday morning. Like I said, I do have the video going live at 10 o'clock for Funfold Friday, and here is the card. Okay, so this will be live tomorrow at 10. All right, so for the second card, we do have the Pebbled Path again, and it's 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and it's scored at 4 1/4, and it is also a portrait card. Okay, so we're just gonna stick that to the side. Right there. There you go, Ruth. And then we have the front of our card again, and I did it pretty much the same as the other one, except the Pebbled Path is 5 1/4 by 4. The Pretty Peacock is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then the Designer Series paper is 5 by 3 3/4. Okay. Then I cut a piece of copy paper, the same size, 5 by 3 3/4, and I die cut, as you can see, the scallop oval out of the center, or as you're welcome, honey. Thanks, Cindy. And I tried to center it as best I could. And then we are going to take this layer, and as you can see, I've used it already for the other card, and we're going to line it up edge by edge. And I have some washi tape on here, and we're just going to fold this washi tape over to hold these pieces together. Let me just take this one off first. It's just a little bit, I want it to lay flat, or as flat as can be. Let's just put that right there. All right, so there is our template. And we're going to grab our Pretty Peacock. And I'm actually going to grab a scrap piece of paper. And I'm going to use my larger brush because we have a bigger area. And I'm just going to ink up and take some of the ink off. And then we are going to blend our color onto the front of our card. And we want it darker towards the bottom and lighter towards the top. So we're just going to keep layering this until we get the color that we want. I'm just going to add my color. Let's get just a little bit more. And it doesn't have to be a perfect blend. The color can be blotchy. It doesn't need to be smooth. Because you'll notice, let's see, where's that other card? Okay, you can see that I have darker areas. It looks, could make it look like the ground or mountains, or so we're just going to add our color. Like I said, you don't have to make it so it's perfect. And then once you're done, I'm going to close this up. We can take, you want to be very careful now that, again, even though washi tape is not as sticky, you still want to be careful when you're taking it off, because it does have a tendency to pull your paper. So when we take it off, now we have our oval on the front of our card. Now we're going to grab our wheat. Let me just see if it'll fit on this one. I might have to use the larger one. Yeah, I'm going to use the wider. Just going to pick up the wheat. Okay. And we're going to pick up our pebbled path. And we're going to ink this up. And we are going to stamp our wheat right about there. And then we have our sentiment. And I chose, "Your thoughtfulness is much appreciated." I'm going to use the pebbled path again, but I want to just check to make sure. Okay, it's got to go up on the right a little bit. All right, so we're going to ink this up, And we're going to put our sentiment down here. It's a little crooked. And then we're going to adhere these two layers together. So let's grab some of our glue. This is a nice, quick, and easy card. Just a little bit of stamping, a little bit of blending, and you can do any color. It doesn't have to be pretty peacock, right? And then we're going to grab, whoops, a length of ribbon. And as you all know, I don't like to wrap and tie my bow, so I cheat. I put some glue dots on each end. And I'm just going to add the ribbon right at the end of the wheat so it doesn't look like that wheat is suspended in air. We're just going to ground it a little bit. Make sure our ribbon is on here even. And then we're going to tie another bow. And like I said, this is on the thick side. So don't forget about the, oh, this one tied pretty good. Don't forget about the stamp sale, 15% off. So if there's anything that you really, really want, take advantage. As you saw, I posted about the the little truck. What the heck was the name of that? Trucking along. And I think a half an hour after I posted that, thanks, Stu, the stamp set was available, but the punch is no longer available. So it sold out that quickly. All right, so the pebbled path layer, I am going to adhere to the top or to the front of the card. Just like that. And then the layer that we just stamped, we're going to pop it up. And the reason I decided to pop it up was this ribbon is pretty thick. And I didn't want to bulge there at the bottom. So the dimensional will, you know, aid in adding some space so it's not bulgy. So we're just going to add this to the front of the card. Okay. And I didn't even put any gems or anything. I just left it plain. Bundles are not included, correct. Just the stamp sets. All right. So again, I didn't do the inside. So let's grab our pretty peacock and our basic white. And of course, we're going to have to use the wheat again. So we'll just put a nice sprig of this wheat. We'll put one and then one. So I just stamped and then stamped off. Because that stamp pad is very, very juicy. So we'll just add this to our layer. Oops, don't stick. There we go. I put it down just a tad too quickly. Add some glue. And then we can add it to the center of our card. Glue on my finger. All right. So there is that card. And then here is our thank you card. Really pretty colors. Hey Kathy. Hey Helen. Your granddaughter lives in Ephrata. I'll be darned. We love it here. It's very, very nice. Where in Ephrata is she, Helen? All right, so there you go. Like I said, I probably will not have a PDF in the morning. I will try very hard. Stormy weather, Kathy. Yes, we did see that weather in the center of the United States. It looks pretty nasty. So I hope you like these cards. If you haven't, take advantage of that 15% off sale. Thanks, Mimi. And I will talk to you over the weekend. The video for tomorrow is pre-recorded, just so you know. So I will not be there. Off Meadow Valley Road. I am off for 2 Mill over by Cacalico Creek. That's where I am. Nice. If she's ever interested in stamping, tell her to send me a message. I'd love to. All right, ladies. So have a great rest of your evening. Stay safe, Kathy, with that storm. And I will talk to everyone over the weekend. Thanks. Aw, great. Well, tell her if she ever wants to stamp to drop me a line. I'd love to stamp with her. All right, ladies. Have a great night. I'll update you tomorrow. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.